Good evening, everybody. Kind of another whipsaw day. And this is why the T-line is very relevant, because this would be hard to say, oh, are we long? Is it backing off? Well, even though it's whipsawing up and down, just like it did over here, whipsawed up and down, we could tell what the overall direction was, because in this case it was below the T-line. Now we're whipsawing up and down above the T-line. And the NASDAQ backed off a little bit today, but you can see that it's still trading above not only the moving averages, which there's a good prospect that now they've gone up through them, they'll come back and test to see if they act as support. So you might see a little bit of profit taking. But as of right now, you're still in an uptrend because they haven't even been able to close below the 3T line, let alone the T line. So I'm going to take a look at some of the other things that are definitely affecting the markets. Right now, crude oil is trading at 21.44, so it's bounced up a little bit off the bottom. I didn't want to do that. Let's just get rid of that line. Bounced up a little bit off the bottom. Texas crude went right down to where they couldn't give it away today. Gold. Gold is trying to stay in this uptrend. So not anything real dynamic going on there. And silver, kind of the same scenario. Let's make it a little bit deeper. Still hasn't, well, it's come right back here to the 34 as well as the T-line, so it's not really backing off any. And I'm trying to, probably will be looking at wheat tomorrow. So this is part of where that day trading information comes from. You can see what's happening on the 10-minute chart of wheat, which is not even traded 10 minutes. So you can see what's happening on the 5-minute chart. It popped up. Now you watch the 5-minute chart. If the 5-minute chart comes back up through that level, it acts like a good buy situation. That's on the 5-minute. That's what the daily looks like. I'm trying to think of what else. The meats. Just moving sideways. All right, so let's get to the ones that we're sitting in. EQT has been moving very nicely. One of the gas companies. We put out a buy recommendation on Crowdstrike because you can see the pattern. Let's make this smaller. You can see the fry pan bottom breakout. Notice how it did a doji sandwich today, implying there's more upside. ZS still staying up above the T-line, moving nicely. DEEK, I'm going to go through these fairly quickly so we can get to some of the. Notice how you have kind of a double doji, and also notice they're basically using the 3T line as a support. A near kicker signal. I don't see what you're referring to. If you're referring to that, no, that's not even a kicker signal. We will be doing a special session, I think, on Wednesday on the kicker signal. I have to see what. Well, maybe it's tomorrow. Should we get out of Deke? Well, I'd put a sell stop right here. As long as it's still moving. Remember what it's coming out. It looks like a big fry pan bottom with a wobble breakout. My chart is not showing today. Oh, on SPX? I don't know why. Yeah, probably not. I don't know why that's not showing up. OSUR. Let's make this much smaller. There's your J-hook pattern. There's your next wave to the upside, still acting well. And CRY. There's your kind of your bobble breakout of the 34, making that your first likely target, making fill in the gap the second likely target. And what did I just do? Our LVGO. There's your fry pan bottom. You just stay long until you see a confirmed sell signal, which there hasn't been yet. How deep can a fry pan bottom be? Does the depth of the fry pan bottom or the length, duration have any impact? The depth doesn't really matter. All you really want to see is this slow curve setup. And usually the longer the pattern, the more forceful this move will be to the outside, or to the upside. And Venda, which is one of the biotechs, notice what broke this back up to the upside. There's your bullish flutter kicker signal, which gives you a wave 1, wave 2. Where do you think wave 3 is going to take you? Back up to the 200-day moving average. Logitech, ever since the big breakout, there's your 45 degree. You just stay long until you see a sell signal. And YY started out nicely today, but there's your J-hook pattern or your bobble breakout. You can still be a buyer of this one on positive trading tomorrow because there's your double doji setup. And the double doji setup, which was pretty evident on this buy recommendation, we can see the wedge. One or two. There's kind of your wedge formation. And then there's your double doji. So this is why we kind of point out these little pattern or setups, is on a double doji, if it opens positive the next day, it's probably going to have the same magnitude move as this. And what's that tell us about our wedge? It's broken out. And so even on a breakout, you might even get an expanded move than this because everybody's seeing that it's broken out through the wedge. So this is because the biotechs, when we can analyze the index or the ETF, LABU, ever since your best friend signal, staying positive, this is made for a multitude of trade confirmations. Look at your little fry pan bottom. Look how it's continuing to trade up. I don't know why we have these on here. I won't even bother with them. Myrna, there was your breakout through this level. Slow curve. And you can see what the results is even on days when the market's selling off. Your patterns are still going to work. I saw the futures were up almost 100. Yeah, I saw them up about 130. Ray, you don't pay any attention to the futures at this time of day or night. The only time the futures become relevant is about 4 or 5 minutes before the market opens. Remember that they're trading based upon investor sentiment, and the investor sentiment right at this moment might be completely different than 12 hours from now. So look at the fry pan bottom breakout of Roku. Look what happens when they break out. Continued uptrend. Oh, that was kind of stuck in here because these are the ones that we really want to look at. Is the fry pan bottom. What the heck is these? Remove. No, we don't want to do that. Remove trend. Okay. I don't know where these are coming from. Remove trend. And I think I got rid of my 3T line. Bah, humbug. I wonder. So right now, as some of you are aware of, I put out a stocks to watch for the week. Yes, it is too late to buy Roku. Put out stocks to watch. You can see how the breakout with a doji sandwich on Clovis gave us more upside. So here is what you always should be asking. Is it too late to be buying Roku? Do you think this is a high probability or a low probability situation? We've already moved a huge percentage, like almost 50% from this level. So what should you be looking at? Instead of saying, should I be buying here? You should be looking at, where should I have been buying? PBYI. Yes, you could be looking at this because this is now your fry pan bottom breakout. I'd be buying this one on positive trading because this is the breakout. So it's not that it's too late to buy. It's telling you, yeah, this is now the buy time. Roku could be another J-hook. Not really. That was just a couple of days. Okay, so let's see, did we do APLS? Another one that, look at your doji sandwich breakout. What's that tell us? More than likely, you're going to have a lot more upside. We did Codex. Codex looks just about like this. INO. There's your, whoops. There's your wedge. And they broke out to the upside with a slow curve. And look at your little morning star signal. Let's make this bigger. Morning star signal, best friend gap up, breakout. There's your double doji setup, wedge breakout. Oh, why is this not disappearing from chart to chart? That doesn't make any sense. So if you can put 2 plus 2 together and see when the breakout is occurring, look what LDOS is doing. It did a doji right smack dab on the 50, which acted as a resistance before, pulled back to the T-line, followed through with a best friend gap up. So what do you do with this one? If it opens positive tomorrow, look for your doji sandwich breakout going into wave 3. Oh, no, you really can't look for a 3 white soldiers. I mean, if you saw it, yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're usually going to see a 3 white soldiers. You're not anticipating a 3 white soldiers. You're analyzing 3 white soldiers after it has happened, telling you there's more upside. So here's Sage, another biotech. So here's kind of where you observe the obvious. The obvious is that the biotechs are all getting a lot of strength. Now all you have to do is find the best charts in the biotech sector. Notice your bullish doji sandwich breakout with a best friend signal through this level. Where do you think your next target's going to be? Where everybody's probably watching, filling the gap or to the 50-day moving average. And TGTX, there's your best friend, breakout today through the 50, implying wave 3's got some more upside to it. We did INO. INO would probably be a very high probability trade setup for tomorrow. AMAG, there's your J-hook pattern. Notice your best friend gap up, bobble breakout. Where do you think your next likely target's going to be? So this is not any great difficulty to analyze what's happening based upon seeing the patterns, seeing where the breakout levels are, and when they break out, where can you be buying? You can be set up to be buying right here. Where's everybody else buying? They're buying because they see it broke through the 50 and they're more convinced it's staying above the 50. They're adding to your profitability. I can't remember which one the regional banks were. Neil, throw out a few signals. Really wish you could see the correct SPX chart for analysis since it represents. All right, well, we can always do the SPY, right? What did I just do? Let me do one more. PRVB did start out correctly, but came back. But where are you? You're still above the T line. I use the S&P 500, but it's the same analysis as the Dow and the S&P 500. As long as we're trading up above the T line, we're still in an uptrend. We're having a little bit of trouble here at the 50, but it wouldn't be unusual to see it come back and test the T line and start back up again. Tech, yes, these are all recorded. All right, so Steve, you're kind of adamant about the SPX. Let me see if I can bring it up over here. And so what's your concern, or what's your point on the SPX? It's going to be somewhat the same as does anybody know how to bring the SPX up over on TCNet? Is it? There, let me take a gander here real quick. $sign SPX. No, it's not coming up. So, I can't help it, but I don't think, I wouldn't worry about the SPX. That might be it. All right, one more try, and then we will. SPX-X. Nah. It's the same chart. Okay, one more try. SPX-X. Nope. All right, that's enough of that. So if I'm looking at the S&P 500, it pulled back a little bit, but very indecisively today. Which doesn't matter. If you're looking at the Dow Jones, Our analysis is as long as we're above the T line, we can stay long. Screen share, please. John, are you not able to see the screen? All right, let's zip along here. All right, so obviously the biotechs are working. We're also going to look at the retail stocks, but they didn't open correctly today, so you wouldn't have gotten into those. Where am I? So let's take a quick look at the biggies. Netflix, still in an uptrend. Nothing wrong there. Whoops. Amazon, nothing wrong there. Still in an uptrend. Tesla, still maintaining. The biggies didn't do very much. Apple kind of sold off today, but Apple's doing what we would suspect it to be doing. Came up through the 50, now it's pulled back to the T line and the 50. So this becomes a very high probability trade setup if it opens positive, because everybody and their brother will see that it held at the 50 and they'll start buying. Eric, if you're stuck on a stock chart, go up to the red X to the top right, click on it, and then come right back in, and you'll get a fresh start again. Okay, so here are the patterns that we want to be watching. Look at your fry pan bottom on Dropbox. This gives you a high probability situation that if this trades positive, it's going to be trading positive from here. This little one looks extremely good. VX RT, there's your fry pan bottom, there's kind of your double doji setup, there's kind of your wedge. I'd be a buyer of this one if you like the low price stocks. An HZNP, another one that's done a bobble breakout. It can still be bought on positive trading. We did INO. INO is probably going to be on the buy recommendation. We recommended Crowdstrike as a option trade today. Let's look at your doji sandwich fry pan bottom breakout, probably implying there's going to be more upside. High probability trade setups. This is what we call your classic. There's your fry pan bottom. There's your consolidation. There's your best friend signal. Anticipate the J-hook pattern taking you up more. Oops. I'll save that one for the... There's another one. There's your bobble breakout. Now you're sitting right here on the 200 with a doji. Makes it relatively simple. If it opens positive, they're still taking it positive. Wave 3 of this J-hook pattern. If they open it lower, that means they failed the 200. They're probably coming back to the T-line and or the 50. You take your profits. And tandem, there's your double doji setup. There's your fry pan bottom breakout. There's your consolidation. If it opens positive tomorrow, I'm putting a little star next to that one. Get ready for your double doji setup, which means they're still taking it up strong after the fry pan bottom breakout. VYGR. There's your there's your bobble breakout potential on positive trading tomorrow. So what makes this much more identifiable that it's a bobble breakout? Because when they hit the 50 and pulled back, look what they couldn't do. They couldn't close this below the T-line. That implies the bulls are still in control. Now you have your J-hook, more refined bobble pattern. If it opens positive, anticipate another move of this magnitude. Again, these are, is it possible to give targets? Yes, I'm giving you targets. If you're buying here, your upside potential is the same magnitude as this wave right here. On Codex, no. First of all, which direction are you moving? You've had a wedge breakout with a double doji. Now this doesn't mean your double doji setup. This means you probably may do a double doji sandwich, meaning if it opens positive, you could have another day like this. And why would we think it's going to move in this direction? Because you've got a wedge breakout that tells us you might have the same move as this, taking you up here, kind of anticipating in positive trading after 2 days of kind of consolidation, may have another big day to the upside. Yeah, Neil, let's see, I think we recommended just buying the 75s today. The May 75s are approximately, I think it executed actually at 275. But if this one moves with the anticipated price move, which is wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, taking you up pretty strong. Okay. Yeah, all right. I'll do this. I goofed up. Add study. Going to add a moving average. Bring it down here where we can see what we're doing. Hit setup. Want to go to exponential. Want to go to the 3 exponential and want to make it very light. So we'll make it 0.07. Whoops. And we want to make it this light green and hit OK. Add. There you go. All right. So we got the 3T line back on here. Okay, so the reason this is taking so long is there's still lots of good stocks, especially in the biotech area. Let's see, AKBA. You get ready to buy this one. You can see the fry pan bottom setting up. It was looking a little bit better earlier today. And OPK, there's your fry pan bottom. There's your dimple. And the dimple's just merely a measuring that from here to here, it's going to be about the same as from here to here. And you can see right about that same level, that's where you had the breakout. So look what your simple entry would have been today. Jason, was this one of yours? But if it opened positive, doing a doji sandwich, pretty much told us the 200 wasn't going to act as resistance. You had a fry pan bottom breakout, and more than likely everybody is going to be buying. Will it go higher? Yes, that's what a fry pan bottom breakout indicates. The 3T line works well when you get too far away from the T line, and it also acts as a little confirmation that if the 3T line can't get up through the T line, it's still an indication that the bulls haven't taken control. So it's just a little added confirmation of the signals. And Goss, there's your J-hook breakout. Another one that you can anticipate is now going to probably be heading for the next target. PDD. Look how this one started. Nice steady uptrend. Now what's happening? You're starting to see exuberance at the top. That's where you start getting ready to take profits. Where did this one start? Look at your left-right combo right here at the T-line and the 50. So if you're buying here or buying here because it broke out, now you've got another message. The exuberance is starting to come into this play. You start watching for a sell signal. And GameStop, there's your J-hook pattern. Notice where it pulled back after gapping up through, pulled right back to the resistance level to see if it was going to act as support. What did it tell us today? The bullish engulfing told us a J-hook pattern was starting. What's your target? Wave 1, wave 3, the same magnitude. OSPM. Bah, humbug. What is that? How can you can't even read your own handwriting? So I'm not. KNSA. Little breakout. What do you got going on? Wave 1, J-hook pattern. Look at your doji sandwich, telling you there's more upside. You can be buying this one with the anticipation of the next move being that same magnitude. So will they move to those magnitudes? Who knows? But at least that's the likely target. And what becomes the important factor? The signal itself. There's your doji sandwich, and now you're right here at a breakout level. If it opens positive, you're going up much higher. You've broken out through this resistance area. Sienna, there's your J-hook pattern setup. If this one opens positive, what's it telling you? It's confirming the bullish engulfing J-hook pattern setup and breaking through this level, taking you into wave 3. Did I do flow? Yep, I did flow. And AUPH, there's your T-line crunch. Notice how they couldn't close it below the T-line. Today they did a booster. You can still buy this one on positive trading because they aren't resisting anymore at the 50. IMMU, another biotech. There's your J-hook pattern setting up. Thermo. This is what we call the message. The message is, you can see your kind of little bullish setup. They couldn't close below the T-line. They gapped it up, but look at your candle, not looking pretty. Profit taking. But what was the message? They gapped it up. There's lots of buying force coming into this. Sold off Friday. Now we got a bullish engulfing. What's that tell you? The profit taking's over. The message is, look for more buying, because the message was that there was a lot of strong buying coming into this chart. Flop, big fry pan bottom. You can see it. Now you can see where they broke out. I would suspect a lot more upside on this one. So the reason I'm pointing out these patterns, here's your little slow curve. That's what usually creates a very strong price move. The patterns give you two benefits. One, it gives you an extremely high probability that you're moving in the correct direction. And two, they're usually giving you a much stronger price move than just a meandering uptrending stock during an uptrending market. There you go, Will. All right. What time do you trade and when does he come in the morning? Cheryl, I usually am making comments right around the open, looking at the ones that we've recommended the night before and see whether they should be bought. Let everybody get their trading done. Then I usually come in around 11:40, 12 o'clock, so we can talk through the slower lunch hour, and then I'll come back in about 15 minutes before the market closes. But I'm always watching, so if you have questions, you can put them in the chat room. If I see that other people haven't answered it correctly, I'll come in and give the answer. Not too much difference. A slow curve usually occurs in an uptrend. This would be considered a fry pan bottom slow curve. A fry pan bottom usually occurs at a big rounding bottom and starts the next uptrend. Yeah, so a slow curve is usually during the uptrend. So people are asking, why are the oil tankers working well? Because right now there is absolutely no place to put oil anymore. The pipelines are full, the tankers are full, and all the tanks, storage tanks are full. Trump was coming out with paying some of the oil firms to just keep the money or keep the oil in the ground where it is. What is the earliest time you will start trading? Doug, if I see that the market is opening positive and I see this is opening positive after our kind of little best friend breakout, I might start buying this after 90 seconds, maybe 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, if everything's working in the right direction. That's good, David. What's the difference between a fry pan bottom and a cup and handle? A fry pan bottom looks like this. A cup and handle looks like this, and then has another little dip to it. TK, you can see the bullish doji sandwich, kind of fry pan bottom breakout. And Sting, there's kind of your fry pan bottom breakout that broke up through this level with a bullish doji sandwich. Where do you think your next likely target's going to be? Up here to the 200-day moving average. And here's another tanker, GLNG. Look at your left-right combo. First target, kind of your second target up here. That's right. Give you a free milkshake with a, give you a toaster with a gas fill up. And so here's your oil fund down here at the low. So now you start watching for potential reversals. Here's crude oil for the June contract. Looks like it's trading up after hours, so it might be doing a bullish harami, telling you the selling has stopped. Okay, so some people wanted to take a look at some of the shorts. I'd look to be shorting Las Vegas Sands. Look how it failed at the 34, and then it did a doji gap down through the T-line. Where do you think the next target is if it breaks this little channel? Probably down here, and then down here, and then possibly still continuing the downtrend. Notice what's happening right here. Kind of a little double top, telling you there may be more downside. A failed bobble A failed bobble. Yeah. Yeah, but not so much a failed bobble, just in the sense that look at your doji, look at your hanging man, bearish engulfing, doji, gap down. What finally broke the sideways trend? The doji gap down through the T line. You don't use the 3T line as a blue ice failure. You're usually using watching what everybody else might be watching. Now we have the 200 and the 50 on here because everybody, major money manager in the world, uses those to make their decisions. The 34 is so-so, but we can see that it failed the 34 and failed the T-line. Okay, earnings coming out. I'm sure their earnings are going to be bad because nobody's in the casinos, right? Micron, another one that failed right here at the 50, bearish engulfing, left-right combo. Now you're trading below the T-line. If this one, well, dang Jiminy Christmas. This one kind of broke that downtrend, making this your next likely target and possibly all the way down to that level. I don't know why these moving averages aren't moving off the charts when we go to the next chart. And A6, look at the failure here. Where are you going? You're already in a downtrend. Every time it comes up and hits a resistance level, it sells off. There's kind of your bearish double doji. So there's your first target, and if it fails there, could be heading all the way down in this direction. Neil, that's right. We'll get to individual. MAG, you still stay long as it stays above the T-line. Also looking for a bobble breakout. And DLPH, there's your shooting star, kind of failure in here. This one has the prospects of heading lower. So remember we were observing which sectors were acting the strongest. Look at your trust. Dang, why aren't these things disappearing? Move trend. Move trend. Look at the failure here on Realty Trust. KRG, a failure of a Realty Trust. So when you see that there's a bunch in a sector, you can pretty much assume they're selling off the Realty Trusts. So now you try to pick the best ones that are going to give you the best percentage return. So here, if they're right about the 45 level, if you're shorting this with the expectation of coming down here, that's about a 50% downside. And 2U, look at the failure. Look at the gap down. Remember, anytime you see that gap down below the previous day's open, it does a doji. What do we know about the doji? It's going to move in the direction of how they open after a doji. So if it opens lower, what do you got going on? A bearish flutter kicker, which means there's a lot of force to the downside. Bye. LYB, look at your best friend gap down. You can stay short on this one, or you can continue to go short because it has the prospect of coming all the way down to test the lows. Oh, is that right? All right. Is the bandwidth bothering, I can take the video off. I mean, that's not a pretty picture. All right, so the assumption is that we're still in an uptrend as long as the indexes stay above the T-line. Where is the assumption that your first target is going to be? Wave 1 and wave 3 about the same. Probably looking right at the 50. Oops, I need to take a sip here. Okay, so which way is the market going? Very slow uptrend. Is it consistent? Obviously not. Up and down, up and down. But what is consistent? Picking out the sectors that are moving in the right direction. So we know that the biotechs, things have to do with the virus, are working well. And we can always see which ones are just about ready to set up for the same kind of breakout scenario. RTX. RTX, if it trades positive, remember you can see where the resistance level is here. Now notice what it did today. Look where it finished trading. You had a best friend signal and then it gapped down. That's not showing a lot of bullish strength just yet. Yeah, see what you've been missing? That's a face only a mother can love. So that's not a real strong chart to me. That means you might have at best a slow, steady uptrend. I'd rather have my money in places that are much stronger. Okay. So with that, do we have any general questions on candlesticks? All right, if not, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. Jim, go ahead and do the double line. There we go. All right. And do the next double line. Oops. Yeah, I gotta stop the scrolling. Still not stopping the scrolling. All right. MRO, you can get ready to buy. I'd be more apt to buy this on a good, strong buy signal. CGC, these stocks, none of them, none of the weed stocks I'd be going after right now. There's just not enough strength in them, and they haven't really had any confirmation. Oh, boy, this one also has kind of a wedge. Notice your series of dojis. You can buy this. You just have to be conscious of the fact that you have a downtrend that it needs to break, which looks like it's coinciding with the 50-day moving average. This one you can get ready to buy on a breakout above the 50-day moving average. Rite Aid, even though it's got a strong bullish signal today, look at what your trend looks like. There's nothing there to write home about. If I was buying, I'd probably be more apt to buy above the 50, knowing that it broke out through this level and the 50. And then you need to get out of this trading range. Nugget, you can stay long with the anticipation that gold is still holding up. So look what happened when it drifted back to the T-line. That's when you saw a little bit of buying again. Eric, when we do our charts usually in the morning, and and when we do these sessions, we usually go through the ones that have been recommended. Now, the ones that have been recommended doesn't necessarily mean I'm in all of those, because if you're recommending 2 or 3 a day, and 2 or 3 of them or 2 of them are confirming, pretty soon you're going to be up to 20 stocks, and I may only have 10, and most of the time, once those 10 are established, I'm staying with them, so there might be a ton more that are being recommended. So we're usually going through on Monday nights the ones that we are in, and that's what we usually start off with. That started with, remember we were saying we were in, still in EQT. We went down through a bunch of those. So usually when we go through this list right here, they're ones that we've bought and we're still holding. Space. Now I think also, Eric, if you are in the members area and you go to stock picks, you can go back and see which ones have been recommended over the last few days or the last few weeks, and then look at the charts and see if they're still being held or if they've been sold out. Now remember, the best place to sell out a position is when you see a candlestick sell signal and a close below the T-line. Right now, I wouldn't be long or short space. It's caught. Is that a symbol TD? Toronto Bank. If that's one, nothing there, George. Now, Venda was one that we've been in. We recommended a few days ago. Look at your bullish doji sandwich. I'm sorry, your bullish flutter kicker off the 50, making the 200 your next target. Why did the major oil stocks not go down further on the low price of oil? Because I don't have the answer to that. We don't need the answer to that. All we know that somebody out there, usually the big money, is buying the oils, even with crude oil down this low, because there's a reason for it. We might not know the reason because we're not delving into all the different aspects of the industry. But for all we know, a lot of these oil stocks that have big inventory, that have crude oil this low and their prices this low, maybe it's a lot cheaper for Exxon to come in and buy Whiting because they've got big reserves and the stock price is way lower than going out and trying to drill a hole or keep pumping oil out of the ground, knowing that you need to have a $30 to $40 price move or price target to make it worthwhile. Devon looks like a J-hook pattern setting up. We did Roku. Roku, you stay long. I wouldn't be a buyer here, but if you're long, you stay long. NVIDIA didn't do much of anything today. It's probably consolidating back to the T-line, but you're still in a very slow uptrend. Boeing, sideways. I wouldn't be long or short. You're still in a wedge, so you wait for it to break out one way or the other. Apple, the weakest of biggies, but it's come right back to the 50 and the T-line with a little inverted hammer. So what do you think everybody and their brother is watching? They're watching to see whether the T-line or the 50 is going to act as support. So if it starts trading positive, you can start buying it because that will be pretty much telling you that they did support at the T-line. British Petroleum. Nothing there yet. I probably wouldn't be long or short this one. There's no direction. And AMD, kind of a shooting star. You stay long, but I'd have a safety stop at today's open. Because logic says if it comes down through there after a shooting star and a spinning top and that little gap up in the overbought area, they're probably coming back to test the T-line area. Turn around, JB, I don't know what that symbol is. Turn around Tuesday. XE or XLE, nothing great right here. Yeah, wouldn't trade this index very aggressively. And XLF, same scenario, kind of moving sideways. Marno, you can see, came out of this slow curve pattern and the resistance level nicely. That's why we recommended it right in here, because of the breakout of the slow curve. And this is why the slow curve is a very effective pattern, because this is the type of move you expect coming out of a slow curve. DB, if your video is frozen, go up to the round red X up on the top right of your screen, log out and log right back in again, and that will get you recouped. Blue. Blue, that was a doji sandwich, fry pan bottom. You can still be buying this one, especially if it comes up through the 50. TLRY, nothing. There's just no direction on the wheat stocks. I'd be someplace else. Slumberger, you can get ready to buy. It's nothing wildly exciting. Same with Halliburton. They're not selling off. Somebody's buying them in here, but I wouldn't buy them yet because they don't show a whole lot of it, strength at this point. PDLI, this one you get ready to buy, especially if it comes up through the 50. There's kind of your bobble breakout. CGC would not be long or short. Am I going backwards here? We did Boeing. GDX, you stay long, as long as this stays above the T-line, especially if they break out through this little congestion area, implies there's going to be some more upside. Aqua, get ready for a J-hook pattern. Look for your bobble breakout right in here. So if you're buying, just watch to see what happens once it gets back up to that level. AYX, you stay long on this one. You can see how they came up, came through the 50, came back and tested it. Opened positive, came back and tested it. Opened, came back and tested it. What did it tell you about the 50? They weren't letting it come down. Now you've got wave 1, wave 2. Where do you think wave 3 will take you? Probably up to this level, testing the recent highs. AVAX, where do most people buy? They buy exuberantly at the top. If this opened lower tomorrow, I'd probably start taking profits. Uber. Nothing wildly exciting yet on this one. If you're long, you can stay long as it stays above the T-line. I would have a safety stop at today's open. Oh, no, I forget what we're going to do tomorrow. I think we're doing the kicker signal. Yeah, so you can come up with all good reasons, many reasons why oil stocks may not go down. But remember, that's because somebody's out there buying that are looking ahead and not looking at the current situation. I don't remember seeing any major stocks really dropping. Let's see. I think Whiting has gone into bankruptcy. An MRTX. There's your breakout. You stay long on this one. Halliburton, we did. You can be buying this one, not for a trade, but probably for setting up for a little bit longer term. Notice where the gap is, right up here in the 50 area, which would give you about a 60% upside potential. TK, we did, one of the tankers. Stay long on this one. Look at your slow curve breakout with a doji sandwich. DuPont, you can be buying this one. It's not going to be wildly exciting, but you can see the J-hook pattern, especially if it comes back up through the 50. The TQs, you just stay long as this stays above the T-line. Now, you probably will have some backing and filling, bringing you back down to the testing the T-line, but as long as you stay above the T-line, you can stay with this one. EC, all right. This one you can buy. I would say watch out for your volume, but if it opens positive into the profit-taking area, that means the profit-taking's over, you can still buy it. Cindy, I don't know which one you were referring to. Steve, this is embarrassingly simple once you understand how simple the analysis of using candlestick charts is. It's just common sense put into a graphic depiction. Marna, you stay long. XL. Marna, stay long because it's probably going to do a 45 degree. Big gap up on XL. Look for a 45 degree off of here. I'd be buying on positive trading, and I have my stop set at today's open because it shouldn't come back down in that direction. And ANAB, another fry pan bottom setup. That if this opens positive tomorrow, giving you a doji sandwich, you want to be buying them immediately. Long scoop pattern, no. I would consider that more of a fry pan bottom. We did Amazon. Amazon, you stay long. I'd probably use the low of that doji as a stop. And Lulu did a bearish harami, which gives you the implication that it's going to come back down and test the 50 to see if it's going to act as support. Oh boy. I would look that if they open this lower tomorrow, remember, we've already got the message that there's exuberance buying in here. So if they start trading lower, I would close out the position or at least close out half the position. The worst case scenario is it trades lower. You can always buy it back if it comes back up through the open. That tells you the profit taken up here is over. No, the kicker signal will be at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, our normal session like this. Chevron needs to get up through the 50. That would give you a bobble breakout. Exxon, we're both down over $4. Yep, but remember what the final decision is, where they finally close it. Cala, nothing. SIG, nothing. No direction. ICD, you should be out of this one. Again, notice how we took it way up. The next day they started taking it down. That's where you should have started coming out. You could always buy it back if it closed back up or came back up through that level. NBR, nothing there either. Guild, oh boy, that's not what you wanted to see, because look at your resistance level. So with it opening lower today and trading lower, I would probably have closed it out. I'd be a buyer if it came back up through the breakout level. AUDC, nothing there yet, not until they can get back up above the T-line. Wouldn't be long or short. Johnson & Johnson, stay long, but have your safety stop somewhere like right in there. If it comes down there, they're heading back to the T-line. If Kodak opens lower, close the position, probably not. As long as, because you're still way above the 3T line, you're still in a wedge breakout, and you're not in the overbought area yet. Yeah, just watch to see what it does at the 3T line. MAG we did, that's kind of lollygagging in here, but it looks like it's trying to set up for a bobble breakout. So you stay long as this continues to trade positive. COLM, this one you can get ready to go short on weakness tomorrow. Does it matter with Bearish Harami and Lulu if it respected the 3T line? Well, it is still a bearish signal. What confirms a bearish signal? A lower open tomorrow. So we don't know whether this is going to open positive or open lower. If it opens lower, where do you think they're bringing it back to? The 50. Eric, that's why you study the 12 major signals. All you're learning is 6 longs and 6 shorts. And they're the ones that you learn the ABCs, and you were probably a lot younger than you are now. Just learn the 12 major signals. Then you'll see everything much more clearly. This one you should be out of. It wouldn't be long or short, because which direction are you going? Completely sideways. I don't know whether we get RDS here. No. RDS.A. No. That won't come up. United Airlines. Nothing. Would not be long or short. Nothing yet. I mean, you can be buying this one on positive trading, but observe the obvious. It's got to break this little downtrend. So I probably wouldn't be buying it until it got back up to that level. Otherwise, you're still kind of in a sideways direction. And ARWR, another J-hook pattern that if it opens positive tomorrow, you can be buying, telling you the 200's not acting as a resistance. Ray, that one's just not going to come up on this, let's see, RDSA. There you go. All right. Nothing here. If anything, you go short, but yeah, you can be shorting this on weakness. Just wouldn't be a great short. Just not any great strength right now. Okay, so now we watch for tomorrow to see what they do. As long as they stay above the T-line, you stay with the you stay long. No, a blue ice failure is something where you see a blue ice failure is coming down through something. Yeah, it's not, that's not a blue ice failure. Okay, everybody. We will see everybody bright and early in the chat rooms tomorrow. We'll see you then.